Savannah Bananas. Yes, we're the first team ever named after a fruit.
I do all types of events, parties, business casual, weddings.
We teach low-income and minority students about how to obtain corporate and high-income careers.
This is the first NFT business, period.
I'm Jesse Cole.
My name is DJ Sophia.
My name is Joshua Pierce.
My name is Kevin Hall.
And I'm Andy Wynn, and this is My Hustle.
I didn't really have an idea of like building a brand and building a community, but I thought it'd be fun just to share my recipes that I was cooking at home, share my videos on YouTube, like the workouts, and it's grown into such a big thing, and I'm now reaching people all over the world with my content. Sorry, 10 seconds to go. Last 10 seconds. I launched my boot camp, you know, hoping that 20 or 30 people would turn up, and on the first day I got there, nobody turned up. But I never gave up. I believed that if I just kept coming back, that someone would come. And I just applied that mentality of like, just keep coming back. Like one more day, one more person will come. You know, it was a multi-million-pound business in the first 2 years. And obviously with the introduction of social media, it gave me an amazing platform to really reach out to people all over the world. I'm Joe Wicks, founder of The Body Coach, and this is My Hustle. Trying to do big explosive jumps off the ground. Excellent. It's okay to have a little break. I got into fitness at a really young age. I remember being in, you know, primary school, which is elementary school, and I was just always running around, always doing sport, you know, exercise. I felt like I had to release this energy. I couldn't focus in math and science and English, but when I was, you know, when I was doing sport and PE, like, I wanted to be there. So they really kind of harnessed that energy, and I really knew from a young age that I wanted to do something in sports. Thank you so much for taking part in the Body Coach TV. So I then decided to become a personal trainer. So I studied for like a few months. I did like an online course, and I became a personal trainer. And then that really started my career in fitness. And I launched with the name The Body Coach because I sat down with a piece of paper and I wrote down all these ideas around health and fitness and movement. And I just came up with this word, The Body Coach, because I thought it kind of encompassed everything. Okay, excellent. Final 10 seconds. The Body Coach timeline really started in 2012, the summer of 2012. In London, I launched my first outdoor boot camp with the aim of just getting, you know, 10, 20, 30 people in the local area to come along and experience my class. And that was as big as my visions were at the time. And more than once, so many times, there'd be nobody there. And you know, it's like quite a difficult time because you thought, well, how am I gonna grow this business? I couldn't afford like marketing and, you know, radio ads and TV ads. So I thought I'm just gonna start with the most basic form of advertising, which is like a flyer and just me meeting people face to face. And you know, that grew. It took a long time, but that business grew. But there became a point when I was like, I felt like I wasn't reaching enough people, and I had this desire to want to connect and reach more people. So then came on social media and, you know, Instagram opening up video. It was a 15-second video at the time. So that was the first time I thought, right, I've got an idea that I'm going to share that hopefully people are going to follow along and actually enjoy. And it was a recipe video called Lean in 15, which meant a lean recipe in 15 seconds. And that kind of started an amazing thing because people were really engaging in the content. They were going to the store, they were buying the ingredients and going home and cooking the recipe.
You are gonna absolutely love this one.
So I've got the boot camps running and I've got the, you know, the Instagram social media followings growing. And I thought, what an amazing way of kind of coaching people but via like an online program. So I released something called the 90-Day Plan, which was a 3-month program with recipes and workouts like tailored to the individual. Launched it and, you know, maybe like 10 people signed up, and then suddenly 100 people signed up, and then it was 1,000, and it just snowballed into this huge thing. And you know, it was a multi-million-pound business in the first 2 years. And so that ran really successfully for about 5 years. But more recently, just before lockdown, we started to invest in an app. So I've kind of taken that product, if you like, and taken it on digital transformation. So now we have the Body Coach app. You sign up, you enter your age, your height, your weight and everything, and it uses that information to create a tailored meal plan. So the portions are perfectly tailored to you. The workouts are based on kind of beginner, intermediate, advanced, and then you've got different types of meal plans. And at the end of each month, we ask you questions like, not just about your weight, it's about, you know, how do you feel? Are you sleeping better? How is your mood? And we track the kind of mental health benefits of exercise, and that's a really unique part of it, I think. It came really from an understanding that people struggle with exercise, with food, with motivation. So I thought, why not take that, you know, quite analog product that I had, which was a digital PDF, you know, it got sent via email, to creating a fully fledged like iOS and Android app. I just thought, let's just take it on a digital transformation. Let's make it easier to follow. Let's make it more engaging and create better content and wonderful workouts and recipes that people are going to really use. So it's essentially a personal trainer in your pocket. All you've really got to do is just have the motivation to turn it on. If you can open it and just look and engage with it, I will get you through the rest of it. And so that's the biggest thing I always say, just press play, like come into the app, choose a workout or choose a recipe, and you're gonna feel so much better for it. During lockdown, when that happened in the UK, I went live 5 days a week, every single day at 9 AM for a live workout on YouTube. And that was so successful, 100 million people took part. So it elevated the brand in such a way that I wasn't prepared for, I wasn't expecting it, because people that can't afford the app, they know they can still train with me on YouTube, so I've never turned my back on that. I've always believed if I continue to share the free content, at least people can still access it. So I think I'm very purpose-driven as opposed to profit-driven, and I think that's an important part of the story, I think. So I'm making one of my favourite recipes from the Body Coach app. It's my shrimp and chorizo stir fry with some lovely veg. You've got some sort of sriracha, so a little bit spicy. Just a really quick recipe that you can make, in 10 minutes, and it tastes fantastic. I'm really a self-taught cook, so I just started, sharing recipes at home. I was on my iPhone just filming them and sharing them on Instagram, and that really started something huge on social media, because I was like, first of all, there's no one watching, and then suddenly I had like 10,000 followers, then 20,000. And when I had 50,000 followers, I got approached by a book publisher to release a cookbook. My first book was called Lean in 15, and it's the second best-selling cookbook of all time in the UK. I had no vision for it, but when I started sharing the recipes, I realized people loved it. I thought, yeah, why not try a cookbook? Why not give it a go? And then it led into that. My whole mission around food, my whole philosophy around food is just quick, simple home cooking. So, 15, 20-minute meals that anyone can find the time to do. A stir fry, you can just throw in any of your favorite veg, and it's quick. I think people struggle to eat healthy because they just don't have the time. So making food accessible and simple and quick is the most important thing, and it also has to taste good. So we've got some lovely herbs, we've got some coriander, some salt and pepper, and a little bit of sriracha. So a little bit of a chili spice to it, a little bit of a kick. And that's it. Look, a really quick example of a really healthy recipe made in like under 15 minutes, and that is my lovely shrimp and chorizo pasta. Super quick, super tasty, and that's the kind of meal that's going to energize you and get you feeling great, and also, keep you healthy and lean. This is delicious. I mean, it smells amazing. Because the minute you lose self-confidence, it's game over. You really have to have the self-belief that you're going to achieve something. My favorite quote is something that my dad said to me when I was a younger teenager. He said to me, and it stuck in my head forever, he said, if you're going to miss the bus, miss it running. And I realized in that moment that sometimes you are going to miss the bus, but if you don't try and work on your goals or try and achieve something, you're never going to do it. So I think that was just something that stuck in my head, because if you believe you're going to get the bus, if you believe you might get there, you'll actually try and you'll run. But if you have no self-belief and you don't even attempt, then you're never going to actually achieve anything. And I think you can apply that to relationships, to business, to everything in life. Like, if you're going to miss the bus, miss it running, have a go, do your best, and you can't go wrong, I think. My hustle to me personally means having a vision, right? A vision and a belief and a real goal, or something that seems maybe out of reach, like a moonshot, but believing in it and never ever giving up. Because when you truly are purpose-driven and you spend your life and you dedicate your energy to, helping other people, whatever it may be, or whatever you want to do in your life, and you focus on it consistently, you can really have an amazing impact on the world. The hustle, it's not about staying up all night and exhausting yourself and burning out. It's about just having a real purpose-driven goal that adds value to people's lives.
Coming up next.
What we needed wasn't just a sneaker. We needed a brand that prioritized and championed women's basketball in a way that no organization, no brand has ever done in the past.
A lot of the shoes basketball players wear come from companies led by men, and it's a bit ironic when you think about women playing in basketball shoes that aren't catered specifically for them.
With Moolah Kicks, our sneakers are built on the inside specifically for female players. And it's not enough just to change a couple colors and then call it women's. My name's Natalie White. I'm the founder of Moolah Kicks, and this is my hustle. I started Moolah Kicks because I grew up my entire life playing basketball here in New York City. I think I really saw those gender disparities that divide men's and women's basketball. And being forced to shop in the men's or the children's section not only had a negative social implication, but it also has a negative performance implication. We as female hoopers are actually put more at risk for knee, ankle, and leg injuries. When I decided to make Moolah Kicks, it was back in 2019 because I saw 4 of the top WNBA players. They were in an advertisement and they were holding out their sneakers like this. And not only were they holding out men's sneakers, they were holding out sneakers named after their NBA counterparts. The teachings from that. What are we teaching girls? What are we teaching young players? Are we teaching them to be the best players in the WNBA, or are we having those players promote the male counterparts? And that's exactly what this is all about. It's taking pride in being a women's basketball player. It's taking pride in having sneakers that are made just for you. Being from New York City, I knew that I wanted to have a slang word that had a positive nod to the street culture of basketball that really dictates exactly how basketball players play, how we act, what we like, and then the money aspect of Moolah signifies the financial opportunity that we are creating for women's basketball players. Creating footwear is crazy. In creating women's basketball sneakers, the very first thing that I had to do was create the lasts. So lasts are essentially a skeleton form of either the male or the female biomechanical foot shape. And what I did at Moolah Kicks is took the average female foot form and combined that with a basketball shape. So our sneakers support the female foot form and therefore knees, ankles, and legs to be aligned while we play basketball so that we're actually at less risk of injury in those areas. Our best colorway, our best performing is the triple white, which isn't a surprise because a lot of female players wanted a sneaker that goes with both their AAU or travel uniform as well as their school team. Then we have those electric colorways. We have the cheetah, we have the wave, we have the citrus galaxy. The shoebox is really the entire message of the brand. We are acknowledging and calling attention to some of the inequalities that have been experienced in the past, but it's also a renewed focus and excitement about what's coming in the future and what's able to come with Moolah Kicks. On the outside of the box is actually the ratio of people that attended men's versus women's games in blue versus yellow. I remember going into tournaments when I was in 6th grade and seeing that the tickets to my games were half price of the boys' games. You know, no one's coming to this middle school tournament anyway. Why would those tickets be half price? And to continue into high school, the stands are packed for the men's games, but the women's games didn't get as big of a turnout. I got the word out about Moolah Kicks mainly through organic word of mouth and social. When we had a couple players starting to wear the sneakers, everyone would say, oh, what are those? You'd say, oh my gosh, they fit, they're made exactly for women. And that message, leading with both purpose and performance, has really caught on and spread across teams. Across the board, girls put on the sneaker and they say, oh my God, these fit like sneakers, not like basketball shoes. That is the best thing I can hear because what they're saying is when typically they put their shoes on, they need to break them in, the bottom of their feet burn, right? It's a little loose side to side. None of those attributes are felt when they wear Moolah Kicks. They slip them on, they fit like a glove, and they've all been blown away by the performance of the product. And when I was a senior in college, I realized that what we needed wasn't just a sneaker. We needed a brand that prioritized and championed women's basketball in a way that no organization, no league, no brand has ever done in the past. Do you like it? Well, that's what I'm saying. We're just not used to it. Like, when you put it on, you're not used to sneakers that fit your feet. So when you do, it makes such a difference.
And also just the cushion. This is the softest my feet have ever felt. And I used to put men's shoes on and put them on and be like, I know I'm gonna end up with blisters, calluses, like breaking them in. These, immediately put them on, don't even feel like I need to break them in at all.
Yeah.
When does that ever happen with basketball shoes? Never. Like never.
So you're telling me when a guy puts on basketball shoes, this
This
is
is
what
how
it
it
feels
feels.
like.
Yeah.
We didn't even know.
Exactly. I've never felt more like a women's basketball player than I do right now, honestly, right? Like, I feel like good in my own skin. Like, and I feel like that's the message of your brand. Like, that's honestly wearing this is like how I feel.
When I first launched these sneakers in the market, there were really two separate launches. The first was the pre-order campaign, and that took place in May of 2021. But the big launch was with Dick's Sporting Goods. They decided to put Moolah Kicks in over 140 stores across the country in fall of 2021. That was one of the biggest launches for a new brand, to have a company like Dick's Sporting Goods standing behind us, echoing our mission to elevate the performance in women's basketball was unbelievable. For me, for the brand, for women's basketball at large, that is a huge step in the right direction. Mark Cuban has been an incredible supporter of Moolah Kicks. He has 2 daughters who play basketball. He really has been so great in his support of what we're building here by and for female basketball players. And he understands the growth that can be achieved when we champion women's basketball. When people ask me which WNBA players I want to wear Moolah Kicks, I say all of them, because I believe that the key to advancing more opportunities and higher salaries, higher sponsorship dollars, are to really get behind a brand that is going towards reinvesting directly into women's basketball. And they should also be wearing sneakers as they're performing at the highest level in women's hoops. They should be wearing sneakers that fit their feet.
Coming up next.
So growing up in New York, I'm born and raised in Brooklyn. Streetwear is a big part of the culture.
Everywhere I went, people were wearing hats. So I always felt like hats were part of New York culture. I think the biggest thing that differentiates between Hat Club and other places is the amount of attention to detail that we give the product, the amount of attention we give our customer base.
When I think of Hat Club, community, family, experiences.
The greatest thing here is just love. That's one thing you're not gonna get in no other company besides Hat Club.
Hat Club was the first brand making exclusive things that other places didn't have.
My name is Benjamin. I'm the Community Engagement Manager for Hat Club, and this is my hustle.
Hey, welcome to Hat Club. What? My name is Mr. Fire. Let's go. We out here for the Egyptian Drop Pack. We got the Braves, Stompers, Detroit, Yankees, Astros, Rockies. We out here with my people. If you're not out here right now, you're missing out on the best drop.
So Hat Club was first founded back in 1992 as Danny Ainge's Hat Club. So as of NBA player Danny Ainge, and this is down in Tempe, Arizona. So years kind of progressed, and the 2 current owners, Paul and Stephen Stachel, formed a merger with Danny, I want to say back in 99, 2000 roughly. And when Danny left to go be the GM of the Boston Celtics, that's when the Stachel brothers kind of took over ownership, bought out his shares, and that's the Hat Club we have today. The interesting thing about Hat Club, and especially going back to the Danny Ainge days, is the Hat Club itself was a club. People paid a membership fee, and they had meetings in this little office in Arizona, and everybody got like a free hat monthly with their membership. But nowadays, especially with online being the heavy hitter, and as far as like where most of the traffic is coming through, it's not so much the 20% off membership anymore, it's become more of a points-based system. Going from a strictly brick and mortar operation to now we're more of an online focused, part of the operation, it was kind of hard to tackle, just because the fact that at that time we didn't have a lot of people working the warehouse, we didn't have a lot of people on the customer service team, because at the end of the day, most people don't realize that Hat Club is still a mom and pop style operation.
For anyone who's been to New York, you know, greens and grays are pretty much what everyone wears. A gray bottom, that's what we mean by a gray bottom. You know, it was your classic undervisor, but that all started from greens were the first color. Those were, you know, the color of the on-field MLB choice prior to 93. So growing up in New York, I'm born and raised in Brooklyn. Streetwear is a big part of the culture. I mean, it used to be you find the hat to match your outfit. Now I think you pick your hat first, then match your outfit after.
Everywhere I went, people were wearing hats. So I always felt like hats were part of New York culture. Not so much on the West Coast, like even though me personally being a West Coast kid, I'm wearing hats every day. A lot of my friends are, but usually it's a, hey, we're going to a baseball game kind of a thing. Here in New York, it's part of your daily fit.
Growing up, especially in New York, your sneakers had to be, you know, good, outfit had to be good, and you was wearing some type of hat. You could style it, you know, certain people like with Dipset, they was wearing bandanas over their hats, you know, but I think all of it is a piece of the whole body of it. I feel like a hat is definitely a crown, you know, a garment or a jacket or anything in that piece, you know, like it speaks volumes.
And so with what Justin and the design team had done, it got into people's heads where it's just like, yeah, I can be a little bit different. Let's center the entire outfit around the hat. Word of mouth spread, you know, people walking around town, you see it visually, and then people are more enticed, and it's like, oh, where'd you get that? Well, I got it at Hat Club. So everybody's gonna be coming here on Saturdays for drop days, lining up, and that's where the chaos like really took off.
Now, why you out here today?
I'm here every Saturday. I just love the hat community.
Oh, you was out here from yesterday?
I'm out here since yesterday, always. Clockwork every Saturday. There's one place to be, it's Novo. That's it.
Can I ask y'all one question?
Yeah.
Why y'all come out here every week? Because these drops too exclusive.
One of the regular customers here, Frosty Preem, had gone to Justin, pitched this idea of a pink bottom 1996 World Series Yankees hat. Combination of, you know, him being born in 96 and the pink, especially because his mother passed away of breast cancer.
Back then I wasn't designing, I was just a store manager, so I didn't have any, you know, say of what we can order in the store. So pretty much Preem came to me with the idea in January of 2019. And I was like, John, can we please, you know, for years I've been asking him, can we please let me do the inventory? And finally he was like, all right, I'll order you a small run just for the homies. It was 24 hats. They came in, I remember the day, May 27th, 2019, they came in, took them out the box, called Preem. They sold out in, I think, an hour or two, and here we are.
The very first time when I came into Hat Club, I came into it because I was in a little dark place. I had lost my nephew, and he was like, when I say he meant everything to me, like he was just my boy. Now my boy Loso, he was the reason why I found Hat Club, because I tapped into his page. That's when I saw the pink martini with the Hat Club pin right here. When I saw that, I fell in love with the pin. So now fast forward a little bit. On Christmas Day, Haywood sent me my drawing. That was like the most epic thing in my world. So my very first 2 pins was dedicated to my grandmother and my nephew.
Hat Club definitely, like with the collabs and stuff, but the people that shopped here actually build the community.
I love the community. Reason why is because everybody treats each other with respect. And everybody's like, I love the environment that when they all get together, you have people from Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan, California, Arizona, West Coast, East Coast. It's dope having everybody come together for one thing.